Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for an absolutely wonderful CR-V. This is a 2.2 EX diesel, and it's fitted with a load of options, quite expensive as well. You've got the side steps, you can see the Honda ones, high level rear spoiler, and it's got the exterior pack with the front and rear bumper extensions on there. Car looks absolutely fantastic, but the best part is it's just covered 29,000 miles from you, and it's in extraordinary condition. Fully serviced by Honda all the way through. I think from memory it's about 10 services or so. Incredible history. Going around the car for what it's worth. Front end absolutely lovely and clean. Lights and lenses clear, intact without any cracks or condensation. Bonnet exceptionally clean. Can't see a stone chip on there of any note at all. So the sun behind me, so I do apologise. Near side, passenger side, beautifully smooth in the panels, no indentations or car parking dinks there. Near side front alloy, absolutely beautiful, no marks on there at all. Around the back of the car, always has been my favourite angle for the CR-Vs with the packs, the rear 3/4. It just looks, it's really subtle, but it just really adds a substance to the car. Bumper corners again, very clean. There you can see the lower extension on the rear bumper. It's got chrome release surround as well. And then offside, driver's side, absolutely pristine in the panels there. Rear alloy, offside again, unmarked. Really is in exceptional condition, this car. Front alloy again unmarked. I venture to say I can't imagine there is a cleaner example anywhere in the marketplace than that. Coming to the boot area, absolutely massive of course, and beautifully finished by Honda in here as well. Let's come into the back of the car now. You can see legroom is enormous in these cars, and the front seats are set for me, by the way. I'm over 6 foot tall, so I'm not cheating, far from it. The rear passenger compartment is always one of the CR-Vs that tends to take an absolute bashing, and yet this one has been kept absolutely beautifully. Nice to see whoever had the car purchased a set of the proper Honda rubberized mats, which are much better protecting the carpets underneath. So coming to the front now on the passenger side, and wonderfully clean passenger seat there, hardly been sat on. Finally, coming to the driver's side, and door card lovely and clean. Same with the footwell areas, absolutely spot on. Driver's seat again, even with low mileage, 10-year-old car, the seat's in wonderful condition there. So inside the car now, as always, I have the engine running, so the dash can be seen illuminated. Dashboard again, it just looks like new, really lovely. Sat nav, as you can see, working absolutely perfectly there. And just pop the car into reverse, you can see reverse parking camera again working exactly as intended. Just show you dashboard binnacle there, you hopefully can see 29,554 miles only. But it is a truly exceptional car, this one. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock wheel nut key all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a rather exceptional car. This is a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. Car's registered YK63VJC. Star that shows the mileage, just 29,540. Sorry, so again, 29,545 recorded. The reason, by the way, that we do these videos is basically to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the car advertised actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is because, you know, like pretty much everyone, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, only to get there and find out it's got an obvious fault that shows up as soon as you test drive the car. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this absolutely beautiful part of Gloucestershire. And this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is then that it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, as I said, you know, it's occasionally you find a car which literally ticks every single box. You know, ownership, service history, mileage, condition, spec, and it's really hard to find them. I love it when we do. You know, the ownership and the history is amazing on the car. The mileage is obviously incredible, and it's just such a lovely vehicle. You know, I'm going to go through all the usual things I always do on CRVs and all of our road tests. Starting with the engine, which of course starts instantly and settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle as well. This is one of the best diesel engines you'll ever sit behind for a load of reasons. You know, Honda are famous for producing very tough, reliable, long-lasting engines, and this one's no different. They're incredibly robust and reliable. They're cam chain driven. There's no cam belts on them, which is a blessing, so you've got no big service looming on the cars. But what impresses more is the way it drives, the way it feels, the way it sounds. It doesn't have that kind of, you know, apart from sort of idle or very low revs, you don't really notice it's a diesel at all. It's got a soft, sweet edge to the engine note. But most people that have driven diesels, you know, quite often you get into them and be impressed by kind of, you know, their urge to get up and go like now. You know, they pick up and they go, they pull strongly. But a lot of, especially the smaller capacity ones, it's slightly deceiving because they'll go for about 1,000 RPM or so, and then they just die away very quickly because the turbo comes on and disappears. This, you know, if you need to, we'll rev up to over 4,000 RPM, which is about right for diesel, but all of the revs are usable, and that's the difference. So it's an incredibly flexible engine. One of the best engines I've ever towed with, I have to say. It's a brilliant engine for towing. You can, you know, it pulls really hard, sort of natural guts to it. Yeah, so I've owned loads of these over the years, and I still rate this as the best one I ever used. But yeah, fantastic engine, absolutely fantastic. You know, not really even running yet. So coming to clutch and gearbox, as again you'd expect with the clutch, it's absolutely spot on. You know, such a low mileage, it's smooth, light in operation. Bike point's exactly where it's meant to be as well. The gearbox, one of the best gearboxes you're going to use in any car actually. Too often, unfortunately, manufacturers seem to think that if you're buying an SUV, they can get away with giving you some horrible kind of truck-like gearbox, or long throw, wafty. With Honda, it starts because they're obsessed with, you know, how all your primary controls should feel. Everything you should touch should feel robust, well engineered, and the gear change is, you know, the most commonly used part of the car, you know, apart from the steering. But your hand falls naturally to the gear lever. The change in terms of, you know, the angle, the plane of change is perfect. Again, if you want down here, you kind of quite often will sort of be having to sort of dislocate your shoulder to get them into gear. This fingertips, it just short and throw, beautiful synchro mesh engagement. It's perfection. You know, if that went into a competitor's sports car, they would be happy with it. You know, it's a really good gearbox in the cars, and they're incredibly tough and reliable. Steering on the car, track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at all at this speed, or any speed up to the legal limit. And Honda, you know, set up the car brilliantly for what it's designed to do, which is family transport. Steering has got a real nice weight to it, so it makes the car feel really confident on the road. Again, overlight power steering, I utterly detest because it's horrible to use. It can be slightly vague. This is really precise and accurate. I've driven loads, hundreds of them, and it still impresses me when you go along some sort of more challenging roads. It allows the car to flow through the corners in conjunction with the chassis brilliantly well. Because what the chassis does, it gives you a very comfortable, compliant ride over pretty much most surfaces. But also what it's very good at is body control. So basically when you go through corners, tight turns, you don't get that lurching effect you get with, again, a lot of the competitors, where they can feel initially lovely to drive because they're very soft and comfortable, but then you show them a few corners and all of a sudden they start to sort of lollop about. You know, particularly kids in the back can feel quite nauseous in some cars, and yet our kids who are prone to it never do in the CR-Vs. Really well judged. Incidentally, there's absolutely no sort of clunks, rattles, anything from the suspension of the car. All in very, very fine order. Same with the brakes, absolutely fantastic. Brake pedal's really good on the car. There's no pulsing or vibration when we hit the brake pedal. So I think at the last MOT there was an advisory on the brake discs and pads, just through age, not necessarily through wear. I don't think, maybe the pads might have been low. But Honda, obviously at that time, must have fitted brand new discs and pads because they're very recent indeed, which is why the brakes are so good on the car. Finally coming inside, first things first, beautifully built cars, absolutely beautifully built cars, just so solid, but also a lovely place to sit. You've got fantastic visibility, so if you're changing lanes, you've got these huge wing mirrors to help you, but you'd feel as soon as you get in the car, you don't feel intimidated by it. I've had, thousands of people obviously come to see us for Honda CR-Vs over the years, and quite often, people will say, "Oh, Craig, it's a bit big," sort of potentially a little bit sort of scared of getting in the car they think they might not be able to manage. And every single person that's come back after a test drive has immediately said, "No, it didn't intimidate at all when you're driving the car, because it's so car-like to drive, but also very friendly in terms of kind of being able to see it, backwards, sideways, in front, really well without obstruction." Dash itself, really nicely laid out. It's a dashboard that, even though it's very highly equipped, you can acquaint yourself with and get used to. Within a couple of days of driving, you've mastered it really, and everything becomes second nature. And Honda, again, very good at doing that. Well, I've always loved with the Hondas, they separate your screens from your ventilation system, sat-nav working perfectly. Really nice, easy to use system as well, by the way, very quick. Then down below that, you've got this dual zone climate control panel, so you can have different temperatures side to side if you so wish. And that pumps out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. As I said before, with the sort of tactile feel, if you turn these knobs or press the buttons, you really do have a feeling of beautiful engineering. And it's those little details that Honda are so brilliant at, and quite often overlooked by people. But I think it's a wonderful part of their design. Down below that, we've got heated seats there, again all checked and working. Dash display is your classic Honda, really nicely detailed, minimalist in some ways, but all the better for it. And it just imparts the information perfectly. Then this lovely sort of leather-bound steering wheel, which is nice and small in diameter, and like the rest of the interior, is in lovely condition as well. These are four-wheel drive cars. Well, this is a four-wheel drive version. There are no buttons to press for it, by the way, because basically Honda is genius, really. They when they were designing the original CR-V, they looked at what people used them for, and 99% of people would be doing what I am now, which is driving perfectly good conditions where you don't need four-wheel drive on. So basically it doesn't. It runs in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive pretty much the whole time, because that's the most efficient way to pull a car along. Only when it needs to go into four-wheel drive will it do so. So for the sake of argument, if you were pulling away sort of muddy surface or ice or snow or something, before you could even react yourself, because it's done by the traction control system of the car, it will bring in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive instantly and seamlessly. It's genius in the way it operates. And I say in every video because it's true. We have one because we tow a caravan, and we've never come close to getting stuck with one. It's a really robust system, and the advantages are very obvious by not being on the whole time. You don't use your tyres up as quickly. You definitely use less fuel, and you put far less mechanical stress to the vehicle because it's not operating the whole time. And that's why it's inherently so reliable. We've been selling these for nearly 3 decades now, and I can't remember ever putting a spanner on the four-wheel drive system on one of these. So they are incredibly tough. As I said at the start of the video, the point is to pick up on any issues, of which, as you'd expect, that are none whatsoever. This is a very, very special example.